Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Heather Tiemann. I'm a realtor down here in the beautiful Lexington, Columbia, South Carolina area. And today we're going to be talking about people that will hate South Carolina. Little clickbaity, I get it. But these are going to be people that just may not like our area. But before we get started, you know what I'm going to ask. As always, please like and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I have a goal of 550 subscribers by the end of the year, and we are well on our way to doing that. So I really and truly appreciate all the love and support, and let's hop on into this. So first on our list of people that may hate South Carolina are going to be people that hate hot weather. If you do not like hot weather, if you do not like humid weather, you're probably not going to like South Carolina. We do have 4 true seasons, particularly this last winter was quite cold, but our summers are incredibly hot. So if you are somebody that does not do well in heat, South Carolina may not be for you because it's hot everywhere in South Carolina, particularly in the Columbia metro area, which is where I am. It's kind of in the center of the state. So because of that, you don't get the breeze from the mountains or the breeze from the coast. So it can be pretty stagnant air during our summer, and it can feel very thick. And a lot of people that hate hot weather would not do well in South Carolina. Number 2 on our list are going to be people, this is a big one. This is one that I see a lot. People that loved the area that they originally lived in, and they were kind of forced to move here, whether that be for job relocation, military, those types of things where they were forced to move here when they didn't want to. I mean, that kind of goes without saying, you would think, but I feel like if you genuinely, truly loved where you were at and you were forced to move here, or really anywhere, you're not going to like our area. I feel like a lot of times it's because people don't give it a chance because they feel some type of resentment towards being forced to leave where they loved. But that's not always the case. So if you truly loved where you moved from and you were forced to move here, you generally don't acclimate here very well. Number 3, and if I'm sniffling, I'm sorry, I have a little bit of a cold and I'm trying to get over it. So just bear with me through this video. Number 3 on my list are going to be possibly people with some progressive ideologies. Now, this is not going to be a blanket statement because there are definitely some areas of South Carolina that are more progressive than others, but a good majority of South Carolina leans very conservatively. So if you come here with more progressive ideologies, then you may not feel as comfortable here as you would in an area that may have more people that believe what you believe, or maybe doesn't have a strong opinion, it's the opposite direction. So just definitely something to keep in mind. I have noticed that if people move here with more progressive ideologies, that oftentimes they don't acclimate here as well as they may have somewhere else. I don't care how you vote, makes no difference to me. But that is something I have noticed. Number 4 on my list are going to be people with seasonal allergies. If you are highly allergic to pollen or highly allergic to, pine or anything like that, South Carolina may not be the greatest place for you. We have a very, very strong pollen season. We're actually coming up on that. And if you suffer from seasonal allergies, this may not be the place that you want to end up. Generally speaking, it only lasts a few weeks and then you can kind of go back to normal. So if you can make it through that initial period of time, you may be okay the other parts of the year. But if you have seasonal allergies and pollen really, really irritates you, I'm just going to let you know that for about 4 to 5 weeks throughout our year, everything's going to be covered in pollen. Everything's going to be yellow. You're going to have to constantly wash your cars. And if that is something you suffer from, South Carolina may not be the best option for you, and you may dislike it because of that. So that was 4. Now we're on to number 5. Urban enthusiast. So if you love living in a big city. You love all the amenities that come with living in a big city. You love, constantly the hustle and bustle and things to do. South Carolina probably isn't for you, because even in our touristy areas along the coast, those are not going to have the big city vibes that you may be used to. They definitely lean more towards it on the coast, but generally speaking, South Carolina as a whole does not have any major cities. So definitely something to keep in mind, that if you love that hustle and bustle and that go attitude, South Carolina probably isn't for you, because it is not. It is a very slower pace of life. We move a lot slower here. We don't have all the amenities that a big city has. We are not a metropolitan area, really anywhere in South Carolina. Our closest ones are going to be Charlotte, which if you live in the Columbia metro area, which is like an hour and a half away. So for people that, want that slower pace of life, but don't mind traveling to the big city, you definitely could do that, because Charlotte is only about an hour and a half away, and then we're about 3 hours away from Atlanta. So you do have options for that, but you would not be living in that. We do have some smaller cities like Columbia and Greenville and Myrtle Beach and things like that, but they are not going to be a big metropolitan area that you may be accustomed to. And a lot of times when people move here that love living in a big city like that, it does not work out, because they're so used to having things like Apple stores. I can't think of another one off the top of my head. Apple stores tend to be a very big one, though. They get very upset that there's not Apple stores here. Another thing is we don't have a Trader Joe's at every corner. That's another thing that really people don't love. There is one in Columbia, but like in the Lexington area, they want one, but they don't. Trader Joe's won't put one here. We've asked. I'm just letting you know, we've asked. So you may not love this area as much as someone else that is looking for a slower pace of life. And number 6 is going to be my biggest one. And I don't think this really applies to any one person. And I don't really think it necessarily applies to our area in particular. But if you have hated every single place that you've ever lived, and I see this a lot. I see a lot of people that move here and they've hated every place that they live. South Carolina is not going to fix that. It's just not. There is something, I think, internally that may be going on. But if you've hated every place you live and you think moving to South Carolina is going to be any different, it's probably not. I'm just going to be honest with you. It is probably not. So those are just my 6 people that I have seen that maybe did not genuinely enjoy our area, and what would stop them from enjoying our area. And kind of a bonus point one, and I've talked about this before, is going to be anybody that moves here and does not involve themselves in the community. Because I say it's a bonus point one, but it is genuinely a massive one. If you move here and you isolate yourself and you don't get out and meet people, you're moving to an area where you don't know anybody most of the time. So if you isolate yourself, you're not going to enjoy this area. I know people that move here and they immediately get out and they're meeting people. And this may not have been a place that they genuinely loved to begin with, but because they met so many people and they really acclimated themselves into the community, they start to really, this may end up being the best place for them just based off the people. Because one of the most amazing things about South Carolina are the people. I love South Carolina because of the people, if we're going to be honest. And I probably wouldn't love South Carolina if it weren't for the people. So if you come here and you isolate yourself and you don't get out in the community by joining the Meetup app, joining Facebook groups, volunteering, if you're really just attending church, sporting events, things like that, if you're not getting out and meeting people, you're probably not going to enjoy it here, because that is one of the biggest draws to our area are the people. So I hope this video was helpful in, when you're making the decision to move to South Carolina, it can be tough because you don't know. you've never lived here, you don't know how it's going to turn out. So those are just some things I've noticed because I specialize in people relocating to our area. And these are the things that, generally speaking, if they don't like our area, these are most of the reasons why they don't like our area. So something to keep in mind there. If you have any questions and you want to discuss your move to South Carolina more, feel free to reach out to me. You can drop a comment below, or my contact information is in the description box. Also, we do have a Moving to Lexington Facebook group that you can get opinions from everybody from all over the country that have moved to Lexington, South Carolina, sometimes even the world. So you're getting a lot of different varying opinions. You're getting a lot of different perspectives. And I always think that is great because you don't know whose perspective is going to mesh with yours, because my opinion may be very different than someone that, grew up in Manhattan. It is just, everybody's experience is different, and everybody has a different take on something. So I find that group is very helpful if you are considering a move to our area. But I'm going to hop off of here, and if you are somebody that hates South Carolina and you want to tell me your reason why, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear it. Until next time, bye!